Good afternoon, everyone. Hope I am audible. Thank you for joining the session on green factories. And we will be starting in another 2 minutes. Let us now Colonel Shailesh Pathak, Chairman CI Himachal State Council and Co-Chairman IGBC Chandigarh Chapter to give the welcome address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Nilesh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for participating in this virtual interactive session on green factories. Before we start, actually, a few points I want to highlight. Like national GDP is expected before this COVID was about 7%. And the manufacturing sector or industry in manufacturing sector were contributing nearly 25% of this GDP. So there is a requirement of having more and more factories, and factories always in the search of better infrastructure, better productivity, better manpower. So there are so many things which through our green concept and technique, industry can address, especially like energy efficiency, conservation of natural resources, handling of consumer waste, water efficiency, reduction in fossil fuel in any purpose. Apart from these things, the occupational health, happiness and well-being are more other things which we can handle using green factory rating system or otherwise. In today's seminar, I have my colleagues, architect Jeet Kumar Gupta ji. He has experience spanning over 45 years in architecture, urban planning, development, management, planning, legislation, policy, planning, and architectural education. He has worked with various organizations as a various assignment like Director College of Architecture, IIT Baddal, Advisor Town Country Planning, Punjab Urban Development Authority, and currently he is placed as Chairman of IGBC Chandigarh Chapter. Along with him, I have Dr. Shivraj Dhaka, who's a counselor, IGBC. Dr. Shivraj has over 11 years of rich experience in industry and academia. At IGBC, he's leading and hand-holding projects like Green Data Center, IGBC Green Factory, Net Zero Buildings, and existing building. In this seminar, to conduct it smoothly and nicely, we are also with us Puneet Agarwal, he's a counselor in IGBC, and Nilesh Kumar Rana. So I request architect Jeet Kumar Gupta ji, sir, please say few words for this program.
Good afternoon, everyone. I think we are unable to connect Mr. Jeet Kumar Gupta due to some connectivity issue. I request Dr. Shivraj Dhaka to initiate, and will get back with Dr. Jeet Gupta once we are able to connect. Dr. Shivraj Dhaka, please.
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you are able to listen me and also able to see the presentation slide. First of all, we would like to thank Colonel Pathak, architect Jeet Kumar Gupta ji, for leading green building movement in areas of Punjab, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, and the areas which has very rich biodiversity, and there are huge scope with regard to green development, and with their support we are getting number of projects of different typologies, and we are really thankful to them for guiding us, for giving a great support in leveraging with our best practices with several building stakeholders. So friends, today's interactive meeting is hosted by my colleagues to interact more about Green Factory Building Rating System, which is one of the programs by Indian Green Building Council. And for this particular webinar, I have kept two objectives. The first is to introduce all of you about green building movement in the country, the key concepts implemented in last 20 years, and then I have kept more about Green Factory guideline and the implementation which has been showcased by several different type of factories. So it will help all of us to understand, to explore some of the good measures which are implemented and they are able to offer tangible and intangible benefits to the projects. So friends, in the first slide, you are able to see some of the largest factories in the country from ITC, from Bosch and Siemens. They have very big plant. In fact, recently they have put one more plant adjacent to the existing green factory. And then one factory which has played pioneer role in clothing industries. And at the bottom, I hope you are familiar with the Tainur, and the factory is located in Chandigarh. It has lot of features. I hope we can discuss for more than about 2 to 3 hours. That kind of implementation are there in Tainur, Chandigarh. And at the bottom, you are able to see one of the leading brands in clothing and apparel from Aditya Birla. There each and every factory by design from the like concepts, they opt for green certification, especially for green factories. So friends, hope you have visited this building. If not, as and when you are there in Hyderabad, possibly after lockdown, please try to visit the building. This is the building which played pioneer role in the country with regard to green buildings. If you see this building, you will find many different things which we normally don't see in other type of buildings. Like there are two pillars. There are about inclined roof. You will find lot of green surfaces over the roof. So friends, these are different measures which are helping the building to reduce the energy consumption and provide more comfort condition to the occupant. With that, it also has practices so that it will not create hot environment surrounding to the building, and with that it achieved the platinum certification in 2003. And after like 20 years of journey, this building was converted into net zero. So friends, if you understand very correctly, green building is one which provide several benefits with regard to energy, water, natural resources, occupant comfort, and many others. But after 20 years of leadership, you find there are some advancement in every technology. For an example, like lighting. Earlier, maybe in 2000 or so, we used to have like incandescent bulb. Then we use CFL. Today, no one is using all these things. We only go for LED. So likewise, this building transformed the complete sector, and then it started playing new role in the country so that the whole sector will have transformation in technology, in new roles which are inclined with like global goals. So friends, here you see the building which has become the net zero energy building, and it has put some of the best technological deployment with regard to renewable energy, with regard to energy efficiency in the cooling system, and sophisticated metering and monitoring for every component related to lighting, air conditioning, and many other parameters. So here you see the complete building covered with solar photovoltaic. But friends, this is not only the solar photovoltaic, it has unique features. I must tell you, this is the only building which has deployed bifacial solar photovoltaic modules. When we say solar PV system, the efficiency of the system would be generally 18 to 19% max. But bifacial, we generate energy from both of the side. Like top face, it get the solar radiation and then generate the energy. From the rear surface, the diffuse radiation falling or re-radiation coming from the white roof, or we can say the cool roof. Again, these diffuse radiation would hitting back to the solar module, and it generate energy which is moreover 30% than the conventional solar PV system. So friends, using bifacial, it generates 30% more energy, or we can say for lesser area, we are able to generate more energy from renewable energy sources. So friends, I hope it is much clear now. Today, our responsibility is not only having green building, but we have to have the transformation with regard to latest codes, practices, the technological interventions which are playing a great role, and with this project is able to achieve more and more energy efficiency, more and more water efficiency, and at the end, this building performs at the optimum level. We can say the level below which it is very difficult to put some measures there. So friends, hope you have read many articles. The rating system of IGBC. IGBC was formed in 2001 by Confederation of Indian Industry, where we are celebrating 125th year of service to the nation. The vision of IGBC is to provide sustainable built environment for all. When we say for all, we say the consideration of different typology of buildings, different types of buildings. And the vision of IGBC is to become global leaders by 2025. Friends, you are aware about World Green Building Council. There are about more than 100 countries which are part of and they are closely working with World Green Building Council. But IGBC is part of World GBC since inception, and IGBC is founder member of WGBC. We work very closely on several new initiatives, which I will come later. Friends, when we deploy something and we find something tangible benefits, the propagation, the kind of spread is much faster than getting some intangible benefits and having the very slow path. So friends, green building offers several benefits. They provide optimum performance of the building, and because of that only, the building which played leadership role since 2001. Today we have more than 5,800 green building registered in the country. Many more than 2,000 are fully functional, fully certified, and this includes the total green footprint of 7.1 billion square feet. Friend, it is your contribution where with support of your leadership roles in different part of the country, this graph can be achieved, can be taken at very height. There, India can become a global guru for rest of the countries. So friends, when we talk about the role from different individuals, here we see some scorecard. Today, more than 5,800 projects are registered with green buildings, and this encompasses about more than 2,000 members from different organizations, companies. Today, IGBC has more than 27 chapters. This means we have presence all over the country in almost Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 cities. Friends, without rich academia or without having professional development, a sector cannot be grown. Likewise, green building cannot have more wings if there is no professional available and not offering the services related to green building. In 2001, it was realized well in advance, and IGBC started exam called IGBC AP, Accredited Professional, and today there are more than 4,300 professionals serving the country for different type of products and green building certification programs. In last 15 to 20 years, IGBC has developed different type of rating system. They are serving primarily commercial, residential, transition, built environment, education sector, health and well-being, and there are building codes available for industrial building typologies. This is a learning which IGBC has understood well in advance to have different type of rating system for different typologies. We cannot have a rating suitable for like office, cannot have any implementation or replica for like hospital. So likewise, there are sector specific, typology specific rating systems are developed. So friends, when we talk about like green, our mind will have some imprints. We may think about like energy efficiency, having some kind of transformation from different lighting technologies. We may think about recycled material or the logo which is shown in the photograph in the slide. It says we are progressing towards some of the features which are sustainable, which are having good impacts for the environment. Another good example is whenever we think about green, our mind would always go to the areas where we find some windmills or renewable energy sources, or sometimes we may think about like water efficiency. A drop may give more literature to us to think about like how water is precious for us to save in different typology of buildings. Ultimately, all these imprints, they are the real cause for sustainable development. So friends, when we talk about like sustainable development, it is not our greed where we try to capture each and every component of this resource available for us, but we use all these resources very wisely so that it doesn't create any harmful impact or any negative impact for the rest of the globe or the environment. Friends, here you see some good photographs. The one photograph is from Hero MotoCorp Halol. It is one of the most prestigious projects with regard to like green implementation. You find a circular surface or a circular design of the building. It shows the solar exposure is limited for a particular time for a particular surface, and it helps in reducing the energy used for the building. At the bottom, you find one photograph from Dr. Reddy's lab. It is again one of the best projects where you find every single implementation from all the service sectors provided in the green building rating systems. So friends, when we say green building, we should think about what is the definition of green building and how it is having better features than a conventional building. A green building is one which use less water, it optimizes energy efficiency, and it generates less waste, which will never ever have any impact for the environment, and it provides healthier benefits. It provides healthier spaces to the occupant so that they are more productive in the buildings. They are having lesser absenteeism, and their health is better than all other spaces which could be there in conventional buildings. So friends, green building is having set of areas with regard to like site selection and planning. One is water conservation, the next is energy conservation, the material resources we use for like several building typologies, how to optimize them. This is like very important area, and material is one which creating lot of negative impact for the environment. If we allow more and more transport to the material, it creates negative impact. We have to reduce it, we have to optimize it. Friends, the most important part is indoor environment quality. Indoor environment is a very wide subject, and I have put some examples. You will learn about more benefits of green buildings addressing IEQ. So friends, the areas which I have put in the previous slide, they are not having much differentiation than our like ancient generations. Earlier we used to say like Prithvi, Jal, Agni, Vayu, Akash. They are transformed, they are having new nomenclature so that the modern generation can understand the impact and they implement all the deployments. So friends, I hope you had visited some green buildings. Do you find any differentiation with regard to aesthetic appearance? I feel the appearance of a green building and a conventional building may look like same, but the performance, the kind of implementation, they would far different than a conventional building to a green building. Green building offers tangible benefits from the day one. When we design it, we select different type of equipment, different type of systems which are having far energy efficiency as compared to the national or international practices or the building codes. So when we say about tangible benefits, if we find some monetary benefit out of any of the implementation, we are really interested to them. So green building has created an interest for all the stakeholders. They provide more than 30 to 40%, even sometimes 50% energy efficiency to the project. And if I take some examples, water can be reduced from like 30%, 40% till like 60 or 70%. There are fixtures, there are faucets, there are items with regard to water available which has significant reduction in the baseline water consumptions. So friends, green building offer us the benefits from the day one, and with that our initial investment could be much lower than a conventional building. We have taken some example here. Some of the early adopters from Wipro, from ITC, they have realized the significant reduction in cost or operational expenditures. In many of the buildings, they are able to save more than 40% to 50% of the energy users, and their operational benefits are far better than what we have understood when these were undergoing design or so. Some of the buildings, they have achieved the recurring saving, and they are able to have some more retrofitting and getting better benefit today because of the green building concepts. So friends, with regard to intangible benefits, any of the building which is not giving the monetary, but there could be significant benefit that could relate to our productivity. Friends, take an example when you are sitting close to a window and you see the outdoor, you see the nature, which is having more and more diversity, more and more different kind of features. Your mind will have some impact. Our mind will have more energy. It will have more refreshment. So when we think about green buildings connect occupant to the outdoor. Hence, they are able to have more and more productivity in such buildings. And there are some guidelines published by World Green Building Council. There they have really put forward what are the different benefits of green buildings with regard to like productivity, lesser absenteeism, and the kind of oxygen which occupant may get in a green building will not get in a non-green building, just because of introduction of fresh air is mandatory in all type of green buildings. So friends, there would be questions from all of you, but more often it is a favorite questions for everyone. Do green building cost more? I would say it is like stakeholder who take decisions whether my cost of the project would go up or it should be optimum, or how it can be reduced to a level which can become a benchmark for many of the sectors. So friends, when we design a building, if we put our wisdoms, our thoughts, and if we give sufficient time to architect to think and then design the building, definitely there would be revolutionary changes in the buildings and it will not cost more. There are several examples in today's world where it has been showcased green building cost equal to the non-green building, or sometimes there could be lesser cost, or if cost is 5%, 10% more, it can be recovered within 1 year time, 2 year time, but within 3 years of time frame based on the type of deployment or the implementation of green measures. So friends, this is not the new data, but some of the early adopters, they found the incremental cost and the recurring benefits. Sometime it was the payback was like 5 to 7 years, but today if we think for a large size project, the impact is almost negligible, and their incremental cost hardly could be 1%, 2%, or even it could be lesser, what I have mentioned earlier. So friends, this slide is very big in content. Maybe it is looking very small to all of us, but green building has changed the team effort. The integration has been added to the projects now. If we think about any of the project, what kind of like good impacts it has just because of the green building, then we have to relate all the 5 areas and then related implementation. Green buildings has offered the tangible benefits while comparing the saving with the latest standards and code. You may refer it like National Building Code 2016, ECBC Energy Conservation Building Code 2017, SRA, IPMVP is one protocol, one guidelines which is used to validate the performance after 1 year when we compare the design performance and the actual implementation which we have done in the project. There are key benefits. Like earlier, we used to have air conditioning load very high for any of the space, and then putting the higher tonnage in a smaller areas. But today, if you see some of the like good buildings, their square feet per ton. This means how much area is served by how much tonnage. It has gone beyond like 500, 600 for the project where radiant cooling has been implemented. So friends, when we talk about performance, there are several parameters. I hope we may come up with like more webinars in some time, and we can discuss more about many other implementations. With regard to like technology transformation, if you visit any of the airport, you find it today waterless urinals. So friends, in our building, when we deployed these measures in 2002 and 3, the cost of waterless urinals was more than like 15 to 20,000. Today you can procure it with like 4,000 or 4,500 rupees cost. You just compare in like 15 years how their cost has reduced. It is a good example like how mass movement has happened for the users, how we have increased the demand so that cost has gone down. Similarly, there are some examples like light pipe we never ever seen earlier, but today several buildings, several factory buildings especially, instead of using the artificial light, they are simply using the light pipe. And some photograph I would showcase where many factories has just put light pipes and they are having delete and no energy use and better than artificial light. So friends, there are several examples related to this. We may find some for different type of buildings, some are related to different implementation. So basically, when we designed earlier different type of buildings, we usually take the electrical load of maybe like 2 watt per square feet, maybe 20 watt per square meter or so. But today in green building, when you design it, when you refer the guideline, your design assumption would not be like 20 watt per square meter. It would be hardly 1.3 or could be like 10 to 12 watt per square meter, which is like half or maybe like 60% lower than what we have assumed earlier. Just because of that, the electrical demand has reduced from 10 megawatt to 7 megawatt per 1 million square feet of green footprint. There could be another example. If we go to the shopkeeper and if we purchase a AC, simply he would say, okay, what is the area of room? We will say like 100, and he would propose, please purchase 1 ton AC. If we increase the area by 20% for any other bedroom also, if we put like 120 square feet area, suddenly the shopkeeper would suggest us to purchase a AC of like 2 TR. So friends, is it a wise example where 20% increase in area has increased 100% the tonnage of air conditioner? It can't happen. So green building has created a baseline where earlier it was like much lesser, could be 100 to 150 square feet of per ton. Today it is like 400, 500, even for some project it is like 600 square feet per ton. So this kind of big difference has come up and it has reduced the energy demand of the building. I have put this example earlier for buildings design. It was a myth to use 1.5 watt per square feet of lighting load. But today, if you refer the energy conservation building code for several different type of buildings, it is hardly like 0.5, 0.6 watt of square feet for different type of buildings. While comparing different type of methods, they are well defined in the ECBC code. It has reduced about like 40 to 50% of lighting energy use in the building. When we compare the water consumption earlier or some of the like guidebooks, they refer like 45 liter per person per day, but in a green building, this water consumption would be much lesser than the baseline or so. Several buildings they operate like 25 liter per person per day or even lesser. Friends, the roof earlier it was found with only occupants. Today we find more and more green spaces. Basically, these green spaces they try to mitigate the urban heat island effect, which is having like more temperature in like urban areas and lesser temperature in rural areas. So what is the impact IGBC has created? We have put like some scorecard here. It has saved more than 8 billion units of energy, which could be equivalent to like 1.5 years energy consumption for Chennai also. Similarly, we have put some calculation for water, CO2 reduction in like CO2, and what could be a great measure from construction waste. If it is not diverted, then what could have been a result of that? So friends, it has reduced the landfill, it has reduced the burden for the like greenfield sites, and obviously for the environment. Green building has facilitated more than 300 megawatt of like RE, and thus it has created a great moment for the RE sector itself in the country. So friend, with regard to green factory certification, it defines what are the green implementation, what are the sustainable practices as made for buildings, and it recognizes different conditions for different climates. It has created a path for the whole industrial sector to have transformation with regard to energy benchmarking, with regard to water kind of treatment system which are put in every industry for for sewage treatment or could be like effluent. So friend, when we talk about green building, obviously we remember some of the previous slides. It addresses 5 areas. I am again repeating for your benefit. The first area is site selection, or we may call it like sustainable site planning. What are the measures we can put in a site so that we are not losing any local benefits available in the site. The another area is water conservation. Third is energy conservation. Fourth is building material and resources. And finally, the most important part is indoor environment quality, which has several parameters to enhance the productivity of occupant in buildings. And the last area is kept open for all the stakeholders. If they find any of the new implementation, which is rare to rare in any of the sector also, then they find it relevant. They find it more and more tangible benefits for the project, and IGBC accept this kind of implementations. So friends, in this slide, I hope you have observed there are total 100 points. These points are defined, they are categorized in different areas, and after considering all the points, a green building certification would be awarded. So friend, I have put one example here, like what are the different measures which are addressed in the sustainable site planning. So I must mention here, we primarily do focus on like what are the local regulations for a building or industry to follow, and then there is a prime focus on like soil erosion and prevention, and then many other parameters related to like access to public transport, what are the basic amenities are provided there, what is the natural topography, how landscape has been designed, what are the urban heat island effect could be related to like roof or non-roof, how these things have been addressed in a project. And then finally, there are certain requirements with regard like what are the facilities has been created for the different disabled, and how a project has been able to reduce the nocturnal pollution, which is creating burden or creating disturbance for all the birds also. So friends, our presentations are not theoretical, they are the examples of like real implementation. Hence, I have put some examples here with regard to sustainable site planning. There could be different areas. The one such area is how to reduce the erosion of soil and how to have the good fertility of the soil, and not to lose any fertility of the soil when we construct a building or factory also. So for that, there are several examples like how we should take care of the soil, because soil is one thing which cannot be changed, which cannot be converted again fertile after like 1 year or so. It takes more than 100 years, 200 years to get the fertility back as it originated. Here again, I have put some more examples like how a green building would differ with regard to like heat island or like urban heat island mitigation. In one example, you will find the photograph of GBC Hyderabad, where the whole roof is covered with the green, or we can call it like vegetation. Actually, friends, this reduces the temperature of the roof, but that is not the prime objective of putting the vegetation. Primarily, the vegetation is helping to reduce the UHI, urban heat island. Once we reduce the urban heat island, the surrounding temperature, the temperature of the urban areas would be lesser than the outskirts. Similarly, there is an example from Triveni turbines. This is one of the like good factory where you find it is like so much having biodiversity in that, and it is so rich in like garden areas also. It has completely seemed like a building or a building with like more and more garden, not a factory. Similarly, a very good example from like Thermex, they have considered all green measures from the design itself, and these measures has awarded the project a platinum certified in Sri City. You can find the whole roof is completely white. You will find lot of daylight penetration for the whole roof, which is providing good daylight for the whole workspace. This means there would be no artificial use during the whole daytime, and this factory sometimes operate for 2 shifts and they don't require any daylight, any artificial lighting for energy use. Friends, similarly, the next area is water conservation. Again, you will find lot of building bylaws where certain things are mandatory, like rainwater harvesting, or putting like more and more energy, more and more water efficiency in the faucets, fixtures of water, and try to have a landscape area which has limited turf area to reduce the water, and put the species which are not consuming much water. These species are adaptive and they are drought tolerant. There are measures related to like irrigation system, and then we award some points based on the enhancement in the rainwater harvesting or maybe in the water efficiency also. So friends, water is an important area and it carries about 20% weightage in green building guidelines. Again, I have put some examples here. You would find some different alternate. We may go for collecting rainwater, having like pond or tank or so, or we may think about having the percolation pit where water will be recharged and ground table will be higher for this kind of things. Again, there are some more examples in some of the project where site area is very high. They have big factory setup. Then it becomes very difficult for them to have such a large runoff quantity to harvest it, or maybe collection in the pond, collection in the like tank or so. It becomes very expensive for them. Several projects, just to avoid this kind of things and to have the better implementation, they have gone for providing ponds there. You will find like in Noida Metro, they have provided very big size pond, and the cost of construction pond is much lesser than providing a water tank or so. So friends, there could be different cost aspects with regard to rainwater harvesting, like Colonel Pathak mentioned in the initial welcome remarks. There are good implementation, but what about the cost? Sometimes cost would be like much lesser if we provide a pond, but definitely we meet the requirement here. There could be several other examples and they may reduce the cost. Friends, the left top photograph is from one of the factory which was facing a great difficulty in not having implementation of rainwater harvesting because of the very high cost. Friends, after our visit, we recommended them, okay, if you find some difficulty in rainwater harvesting or like constructing a tank, okay, you have another option to have the percolation, but in that side, even percolation would be like very costly matter, having like 20-30 percolation pit there. Then we recommended them to have a open pond, and then this pond area will have some sitting spaces all around it, which is creating a very aesthetic impact for all the occupant, and the cost has reduced more than like 100 times. The cost of this pond was hardly 3 lakh rupees, but it could be like more than like 50 lakh if we construct a tank there. Similarly, in another example, some project they do collect the rainwater, and then it can be reused for some examples like irrigation, could be for like cooling tower, or some project they use this water, they make it more filtered and then used for like process activities. So friends, there are several examples, and project may implement based on their choice, based on the area, and finally the cost implications. This is one project where urban heat island from like non-roof areas, which is not part of like roof, it has been completely eliminated. You have seen this photograph where they have put like some tiles which are having some different holes, and these holes are covered up by green grass. So we call it like open grid grass pavers, and these are able to mitigate the urban heat island. At the same time, these ulta chatas or umbrellas, they are trying to have the rainwater harvesting, as well as they provide shade. They have created the shade for all the vehicles parked in the factory. And then you find some landscape here, which is like native, which is like drought tolerant, and it is completely having good irrigation of like drip system is installed there, so that it reduce optimal water usage there. Friend, this is another a good example. It is from like Hero MotoCorp, where they have put like rainwater harvesting pond throughout the track or so, and these are helping them to store a huge quantity of water, which can be used for several other examples, several other applications. I hope you are able to differentiate the different type of implementation here. We have earlier used to see some kind of like sprinkler having for irrigation, but after some time we found some technology interventions, and it was a method to have drip irrigation in most of the factories. Even after that, some clients, they have reduced the water uses again by putting some moisture sensor. But friend, the example which I have put at the last, it is called like housing, or we can call it. It has porous pipes. These porous pipes are made with recycled material, could be like vehicle tires also. And these small packs or tubes, they are perforated and they are laid down about like 6 inches or 8 inches based on the soil condition or the soil properties below the soil. And this has some automatic pressure regulation, just because of like concept of like fitting, and that would allow moisture out when there would be soil dry. If soil is not dry enough, then moisture will not go. It is very similar to our skin. When we have moisture out or when we have sweating, when there would be more temperature difference between our body and the surrounding, then then our skin will evaporate moisture. Similarly, it works on that principle. And I believe this is the most advanced technology. This is the most advanced solution where water would be reduced by 70% to 80%. And in one of the project, it has completely implemented for throughout the landscape. There would be no space where they have put some sprinkler or drip or so. Friend, this is related to like energy conservation. I hope everyone is well understood about like energy efficiency. It is the only area where we find the maximum tangible benefits. We may get some benefits in water, we may get some benefit in like site and many other areas, but energy is one which gives real impact within like shortest period of time. So friends, the most important part is what kind of refrigerant, what kind of like air conditioning system we should use, so that we try to reduce the global environment having more and more CO2 or having more and more ozone depleting potential also. So friends, if you remember the refrigerant family earlier, there were many air conditioners or like fire suppression system used to have CFC based refrigerants. But after CFC, we found like some HCFC type of refrigerant. After HCFC, there is another family, the third generation, where most of the refrigerants are like HFC based, but we are not limited there. Green building concepts, green building philosophy has made a new transformation for the whole sector. Today, if you talk about like some of the largest projects, they don't use any CFC. Although CFC is no more allowed in the country, even we cannot purchase it. It is banned since 2008. But some projects, they thought to use HCFC or like HFC base, but while adopting the green building principles, they cannot use them. And finally, they got new type of refrigerant which are having very low GWP, which is called like global warming potential. It is like kind of CO2 or so. And these refrigerants are having zero ODP. So zero ODP with least GWP. That could be for some refrigerant, like I tell you some examples. Some ACs they use R32. The GWP of R32 is about like 700. Some ACs they use R290, which is like hydrocarbon, and the global warming potential is very low. It is like less than 1 or so. So there are some more refrigerants which are for like large size chilling plants. They are called HFO HZOs, and these refrigerant by default has zero ODP. and their GWP is very, very least, and we have to use them for all our factory incoming projects. Otherwise, there would be requirement tomorrow from the government or so not to have this kind of refrigerant or to have the phase out plan for this kind of refrigerant or air conditioners. So friend, the most important part is energy efficiency for a building. So when we compare the energy efficiency, our key role is what are the baseline, what are the minimum benchmark available from them, how we can achieve either or how we can improve the energy efficiency while attaining all the good part there. Then there are certain requirements with regard to like what kind of metering monitoring system we have put there, and these systems will definitely help us to diagnose the energy performance and also to have some useful decisions after like 1 year or 2 years when we go back and see like what are the areas, what are the measures we should retrofit them. Friends, the renewable energy, which is very predominantly used in green building projects, and we call them like on-site renewable energy sources. We may put there solar photovoltaic or small wind turbine also, and there are solutions available for the green power, which is like off-site renewable energy. There could be some solar plants which are put away from our plant. They may provide us green power by having some purchase power agreement or having some agreement with the DISCOM. There could be some other examples of this which may discuss later on. So friends, when we go back to like energy performance, there are certain standards, and these standards helping us to have benchmark performance. Like what are the codes used for energy efficiency, what are the codes used for ventilation, and when we use all these codes, it is giving a feedback to us what could be the minimum requirement for energy for the ventilation or so. While considering the case of COVID, do you feel like what are the measures is sufficiently fine for a factory building? Then we should say there would be ventilation requirement which is going beyond the energy efficiency. And today, just because of the COVID, many people are much worried about like, oh, whether they have provided the ventilation there in the factory or building or not. But going for like green factory, making you sure every implementation is there with regard to like ventilation, and it is making good impact for all the buildings. There are some other requirements like measurement and verification protocols, and they help us to diagnose the energy efficiency after 1 year or so. So friends, I have taken some example here. We have very limited time. So if we have a building and if we try to optimize the right orientation, it is so difficult for us because we have the sun movement, sun path from east to west, and there would be different time slot when this will have slight variation in that. So how to optimize a building orientation or the facade which should have more glass or the facade we should have least glass. Friends, in the first slide, you have seen the Tainur. Tainur is a one best example where facade has been dynamically designed. The facade or the side which is there in the south, it doesn't have more openings and more glass. Whereas in the north, you will find in the first photograph, it has completely covered with the glass. So friends, this is called right orientation. So when we orient a building in right proportion, it may offer us good savings, and this savings, friends, it is for whole lifetime of the building, and getting 2%, 3%, or even like 0.5% saving for like 60 years of the life of building, it is making huge impact for us. So what could be right orientation? It depends, and it depends on like location, and we have to exercise for it using some simulation tools like computer simulation tools, and they definitely tell us what could be the right proportion for it. So friend, when we talk about like buildings, sometimes we see less glass, sometimes we see more glass, but it is a wise decision for us, like which glass is good for our building, and green building addresses it. Because glass is not only heat, but it protects the heat when we use the energy efficient glass. It gives more daylight, it gives more outdoor connection, and all the occupants which are close to the like windows or so, they are well connected. By many ways, it is helping us to have better productivity and also reduce the artificial use there. So friend, this is one example where we have put some retrofitting for our building in Hyderabad. In the left side, you will find the lighting fixtures which are like CFL based, although they were imported from Belgium in 2001 and were the most energy efficient fixtures. Their energy consumption was like 72 watt per fixture, and the efficacy was very less. When we talk about like lighting fixtures, we call it efficacy, and efficacy represent the lumens per watt. Today, if we see the LED fixtures, their efficacy is very high. It could be like 130, 140 or so. When efficacy is high, their lumens are more, and wattage is getting less and less. With that, we have retrofitted, and we got some more than 77% of the savings, and we got about like 4% reduction in the cooling. So friend, this is another example. You are able to see the GBC building, and the middle, the chiller which we had earlier, it was most energy efficient, and it was water cooled chiller having COP of like 3.8 or so. But recently we had retrofitted the whole chiller plant, and it is most energy efficient, having COP very high, and IPLV is absolutely very high. So friends, we have put like bifacial solar, we have retrofitted the chiller, and just because of this important retrofitting, our energy consumption has reduced more than 60%. This is another example for like building metering and monitoring. Friends, if we meter the energy consumption for bigger consumers like air conditioners or could be process also, tomorrow it will give a decision whether to go for retrofitting or not to go. So it is quite important. And nowadays the building management system, they may be integrated with like sophisticated tools, could be like fault detection, diagnostic and prognostic, so that they are giving the true feedback whether they are operating, not operating, when it will fail, when it will have the like measures for retrofitting also. So we get very sophisticated information, and we take the decision there. So friend, this is the last module. This is the another module which is related to like building materials, and I will not have much time here, but I would like to tell about 2-3 key concepts. One thing is we have to manage our waste, whether it is like process or non-process. If we use the right approach, if we have the different segregation at the source, it will solve our problem. And tomorrow you would find more and more programs, more and more things which will create a guiding road and guiding pathway for all the buildings to manage the waste and go for like circular economy. So friend, material should be like local, materials should have more and more recycled content, and materials should be rapidly renewable. These are the key concepts, and very recently CI has launched one program which addresses most of the things. Friend, this is like waste management done in some of the like key project. You find like Hero MotoCorp, they have the complete line diagram. If waste is generated at X area, it will directly come to some path and it will be diverted. If this is the X area which is having this kind of waste, it will directly designate the person to come to the like waste bin number 2 or 3. So it is having like guide path for every different type of waste. Similarly, you find some of the other examples where waste is managed. Friend, this is like rapidly renewable material, the material which are having very short life duration, like bamboo. Today, if we cut the bamboo, again after like 5 or 10 years, it will have the same growth. So this kind of material are very much promoted in the green building, and they create lesser impact for the environment. We have to have reuse of materials wherever we find some waste. It is not a waste, it is a resource for some other industry, or could be for some other applications. So friends, here the railway slippery pads are used for some of the like shading in the exterior, and it is helping the project to reduce the heat gain as well, the good aesthetics. This is the program developed by CII under GreenPro rating system, and this GreenPro stands for like Green Product Certification. It is a kind of eco label for India, and it has a robust process. It starts from like product design till like final finish, and the kind of innovation they have put there in the product manufacturing. Every different component are well addressed and covered in the GreenPro. So once we procure any of the product which is GreenPro certified, we are 100% sure every different aspect of this manufacturing has gone in a right way, and it is created lesser impact for the environment with regard to like waste or energy use. So friend, with regard to like indoor environment quality, it is very important area, and it is the area which is extremely important for all type of building, not only for factories, but all type of building. When we talk about like indoor environment quality, primarily IEQ addresses thermal comfort, visual comfort, indoor air quality, ergonomics. These are the prime areas which are addressed in the indoor environment quality. So providing fresher ventilation for green building, it is a must to do activity. And if we enhance the fresh air, we get more and more reward for it. Likewise, today there are several position paper published by several societies. They have mentioned if any of the project is not having the fresh air, they should not operate that particular space. Or there is a guideline, if any of the space is having ventilation, if they are able to have more fresh air or like enhanced ventilation, they are having more safer indoor spaces there. So friend, there are certain requirements like building flush out. When we occupy the building, it may have some smell just because of several chemicals has gone into it. But if we do the building flush out, if we remove all these chemical by opening the door and windows and putting some fan for several 1 or 2 weeks, it will create good environment for all the occupants. Friends, daylighting is main criteria here, and providing daylight, it will have lot many other benefits. Finally, there are some activities, there are some requirement with regard to like what kind of space we should provide there, the breakout space or like a kind of cardiovascular gymnasium also. Earlier, I hope you are much aware, no one has put this kind of feature in the building, but green building has encouraged stakeholder to put the breakout space so that their occupant feel this is their home and they are not at the factory, not at the process, they are staying very safely there. Again, I would like to showcase one very small example. Suppose you have auditorium, you have conference room, or you may have like factory area. What could be the total fresh air count we should have for this particular area? So friends, let us take very simple example. Suppose in your factory, you have provided one training area, and this training area may occupy like 100 occupants. And the area is 1000 square feet. So if area is 1000 square feet, there is a calculation here which we have mentioned like CFM per square feet. So you please multiply by 1000 square feet by 0.06 CFM per SFT. It would come like how much it is the value. You just multiply 0.06 by 1000. Then you count it like some CFM reserved for the area. Then some CFM would be based on like what is the occupancy we have provided in that training room. Suppose the capacity is like 100. So we need to multiply by 100 plus 100 multiplied by 5. So it becomes like 500 CFM. So 500 CFM plus the area which is like 1000 multiplied by 0.06, which again like 6 or so. So this is the total requirement of fresh air for a given area. Similarly, we can create this table or like a kind of Excel calculation for every type of space in our factory, so that by the end of the design or by end of the operation, we are making sure like every person is getting full fresh air, and this fresh air is having the right calculation. So this is one example like how fresh air has been maintained in some of the good projects. The top left photograph shows AC is fitted and it is not having the exhaust. In fact, this exhaust fan is put in reverse direction so that it supplies air from the outside. This is like one implementation which is not making any cost for the project, and it runs when AC is on. The another example on the left is from Mahajan Overseas, where they have created a barrier from trees, and below that they have put water sprinkler. So during summertime especially, these water sprinklers are on, and the air which is sucked from these trees area where there is a barrier called trees, and then they have the cutout. From this cutout, the air would be filtered from these trees, and then this air would be circulated to all the occupied areas. This is one nice example where without having any mechanical item there, fresh air is introduced in all the spaces. Friend, another example is like Hero MotoCorp, where they have put different kind of system. It continuously add the fresh air as and when there is a requirement, because it has auto control with the indoor system. In another example, they have put like solar photovoltaic. Below that they have put the vegetation, and finally it is integrated with the fresh air system also. This is one example like how to maintain the CO2 concentration in a room. So there's a guideline from green building. There's a requirement to have the CO2 differential of like 530 ppm. Suppose we have the outdoor CO2 of like 430 ppm. Our indoor CO2 should not be more than like 530 ppm of like differential. This means like the indoor CO2 cannot be more than like 930 or so. This is another one example where fresh air is introduced from the like ducts, and all the spaces facades are designed so nicely so that every space is getting good daylight. It doesn't require any artificial light for it. Well, this is called like breakout space. There are good examples of this kind of factories. They have provided sufficient space for breakout for all the employees, and these are creating good impact for the factories. They are not looking like factories. They are looking like good, very aesthetically fine commercial buildings where several spaces is provided for occupants. So this is one example where we don't have any limits. If you find some of the implementation which are rare and they are having true sense for the project with regard to like tangible benefits, IGBC accept such request, and we call them like innovation in design. So friend, this is one good example of creating a wealth for the country. And IGBC since 2001 understood this concept, having like professional and accredited professional for the some kind of like building certification. So IGBC accredited professionals are those are helping project, facilitate them, and also help them in implementation. And instead of reward, IGBC put 1 credit or 2 credit fixed for this IGBC AP professional. If they are part of any of the green building project, they get 1 or 2 extra credit or extra weightage for it. And these are the people who are really helping all the facilities to have real implementation for all the green measures. So friends, till today we have more than 380 projects all across the country. It includes more than like 115 million square feet of registered green footprint for factories. And till today we have certified more than 200 plus projects. And some of the projects they are also achieved some of the highest rating with regard to credit points. You will find this rating system is applicable for both new and existing buildings, and we have covered several sectors. We have received several projects from engineering sector, automobile, textile, furniture, food and beverage, chemicals, and so many other areas. Again, you will find some of the companies, those have adopted the green building principles, green factory rating system, and they have deployed some of the good measures which I showcased during my presentations. So friends, when we go for green certification, we are 100% sure we are meeting all the compliance requirement by the local bylaws or some of the central or state government laws which are there in all the factory guidelines. And once we deploy it, we are meeting 100% compliance to it. And IGBC has put some good efforts with MOEFCC, and if we go for green factory certification or green building, our AIA clearance would be much faster than any conventional project or so. So friend, green building certification has certain level for a factory. If any project getting credit point, which we call it like points or like numbers, if they are in between like 51 or 60, it called a best practices, and project would get the certification level. Similarly, any project getting like 80 or more than that, it would be recognized at global level, and the project would achieve the platinum certification. So basically there are 4 levels, and all these levels, they are based on credit points achieved. This is the process of registration. You will find IGBC website where you can register the project. Once you register, you may ask by IGBC to have compilation of all the documentary evidence, and then it will be submitted to IGBC. This is also an online process. So friends, once you submit document to IGBC takes about 30 days time, and then we come back with like comments to you. And once you clarify all these comments, again we take some certain like days or 30 days time, and then we award the rating. If you are okay with the rating, it will be awarded the plaque and certificate. If you are not okay, again you have a path, go back to like appeal process, and again IGBC would seek some more documentation for it, and finally project achieves the green building certification. To sum up friends, this is a great opportunity for the whole country to demonstrate our leadership roles and the green building footprint, which we may aspire for like #1 in the globe, #1 in the world. And this is possible because it provides tangible benefits, it provides intangible benefits, and it is recognized by the industry. And once we go for it, it also creates performance improvement path for the green building or green factory owners. So with this, I thank you, all of you. And if you have any questions, please ask our colleagues, and we will be very happy to answer you.
Thank you very much, Shivraj. It was really nice and exhaustive presentation which you have made. And we see a lot of people have asked questions and which we will be answering. If still some person wants to ask a direct question right now, it can be mentioned on the question answer panel by a message. Our team will be handling it.
Yes, sir.
Puneet, if you find some question which you want to share and which Shivraj can answer, we'll be happy.
Yeah,
Sir,
Puneet, are you able to hear?
thank you, Shivraj. It is a very interesting presentation from your side, and we are having many of the questions, so we would be taking few of them, and whatever maximum is possible, we will take those things. Yeah, so just the very first question what we have is that someone, it is the anonymous one, has asked, sir, does the green buildings means energy efficient building or a building with more greenery? Shivraj?
So friends, when we call it green building, we have mentioned in some of the slides. Actually, it addresses 5 areas, which are like site, water, energy, materials, and finally the indoor environment quality. When we have a green building project, definitely it is having a lot of energy efficiency for the project, but with that it also improves the water efficiency. It provides lot of intangible benefits, and occupants are more healthier and happier there. But providing more greenery, it is a very interesting question, and I feel any project, especially factories, they provide landscape in very large areas, and this kind of facilities would not be available for all type of buildings. Like a commercial may have not very much space for the green vegetation, but factories by default they have huge space for greenery. So going for green certification, it has a lot of energy and water efficiency. It may provide more greenery, but this greenery is not as same as like greenery in a conventional building, because this greenery, #1, must be limited with regard to like turf area. #2, all the plants species should be only drought tolerant, and all the plant and species should be adaptive to that climate. So I hope it addresses both more energy efficiency and more greenery, but greenery in different sense.
Shivraj, there is another question which has been saying that what should be the minimum IGBC rating for a new factory according to National Building Code or any other Indian standards?
Puneet, if I get the question correctly, people are asking about like what is the minimum or like bare minimum requirement for a green factory certification.
Yeah, but that would be in comparison with the National Building Code. What is the basic requirement of a National Building Code, and what would be the basic requirement for being a green building?
So friends,
comparison.
When we are having the green building certification, by default, as I have put one slide also, it is meeting all the basic requirement of like National Building Code with regard to like what could be like air quantity, or like a kind of comfort level, or like water usage also, or could be like energy conservation building code, which is a reference code for like energy efficiency evaluation also. So when we have the certification, by default it is meeting the minimum requirement defined by like ECBC or like National Building Code. Let us take one example, like National Building Code says the water usage per person should be like 45 liter per person per day. But in green building certification, you would find it a very interesting case. All the project would have achieved maybe like 30 liter per person per day, or could be 35 liter per person per day. So they would reduce by like 20%, 15% reduction in the water usage, while meeting the basic requirement of like NBC, or could be a case of like ECBC. In case of ECBC, the any of the green factory going for certification, if they provide the minimum compliance for energy conservation building code, or if they achieve the minimum benchmarking available in the code, by default it meets, and their requirement for exceeding is to get more and more credit point in that. So I believe they are basically meeting the basic requirement, which we are calling it like mandatory requirement for energy, for water, and for some of the areas related to like indoor environment quality and then site planning.
Thank you, Shivraj. And it's been important to say that in case we are not meeting the NBC, it would be difficult to even achieve a green building certification. But you need to do better than the standard practice and then set the benchmark. There is another query. It is related to the cost comparison or the investment analysis. Again, it comes from the anonymous, that what would be the additional cost for developing a building as a green factory?
So friends, I would like to take some example here. Like if a factory is going for certification, or if they don't have any certification, then what could be the like cost implication? The first part is related to energy efficiency, because several things are by default mandatory for water point of view. But in energy efficiency, most of the project nowadays, they are by default having the LED lighting fixtures. So I believe there would be no cost addition just because of the green building certification on the lighting component. The second component could be like equipment or so. Again, there would be no restriction from the like code or like green building certification for that matter. But the basic cost would be related to air conditioning. If any of the factory is fully air conditioned, there would be some additional cost for meeting the criteria for energy efficiency. Suppose if we want to go for green factory, our COP of the system should be like 3.2 for a air cooled, or 3.4 for a like VRF system or so, or could be like a water cooled system with like 4.8 or so. But if they don't follow the code, they may go for like lesser efficiency equipment, which are having like COP of 3 or 2.9, or in case of like water cooled, it could like 4.5. So the cost variation, just because of green certification, it is becoming mandatory for them to follow the standard practices or like code values. It may have some negative implications on energy efficiency, but cost point of view, it would be slightly higher for like green building. But this cost can be recovered within like 2 to 3 years time. Suppose we have taken a system of like higher COP, definitely it is consuming very less. And friends, I tell you one very good example. Suppose we haven't gone for green certification, then we don't have any limit for energy efficiency. Then just because of more energy users, which we have procured like non-standard equipment, our basic demand would increase. Suppose any of the factory going for not going for certification, their load could be like 300 kilowatt, or could be like 5,000 kilowatt a contract demand. But going for certification, we have reduced this energy demand in lighting, in equipment, in air conditioning, and in just because of these components, they have reduced the cost of like transformer. Just because of the transformer lesser cost, it has put lesser demand for the project. So in a way, we have reduced lot many parameters in hierarchy of like different items. But instead of that, not going for certification, this hierarchy is not maintained, and we have procured lot many parameters, lot many items which are like non-standardized in performance. So I would say cost is like how we take decision for the project. If we have the certified project, our cost is related to like what is the requirement for IGBC with regard to energy or water or so many other parameters. But for a non-standardized factory, there would be no restriction on the cost. It is as per the wish, it is as per the owner choice, what kind of equipment or the kind of system they have procured. So it is a case-to-case basis, Puneet, and I feel if they are going for certification, by default, their energy demand would be much lesser, and it is a payback of like 1 year, 2 year, not more than 3 years, but may vary in like 10% or maybe like 12% or so.
Yeah, thanks, Shivraj. So it means my return on investment on the additional activities would be having a payback period of say 18 to 24 months, which is a decent one. We also have a query from Mr. Gaurav. Is willing to ask what would be the 2 or 3 very specific element which differentiate the IGBC Green Factory certification from the other IGBC certification of various building types. So 2 or 3 very specific element for the factory building.
Yeah, so friends, the most important differentiation which I have seen in all the factories while visiting several projects, the basic idea is for a project of like commercial building or so, they have very limited roof, could be like 1,000 square meter or even lesser than that. But factory sheds are so big in size. Sometimes their area could be like very big, and it is a kind of cost for them to put that kind of shed. So for IGBC point of view, their shade should be white in color. It should be having high SRI of like 78 or so. So it is making very much difference compared to like all other buildings. They would have very less area, but here area would be very huge. The second part is the green buildings which are having like permanent roof or so. They cannot use light pipes in that. But a factory, like I showed some example from like Thermax, they have put daylit seats and they have put light pipes. Even in like hardware factories, they have put only light pipes. These light pipes provides daylighting or a kind of lighting which looks like artificial lighting throughout the shop floor. So this kind of implementation we cannot see in like all commercial building. So I feel putting light pipe, it's so easy for a factory, but it can only happen like demonstration for a commercial building also. The another example would be for a factory where process loads, non-process loads for energy and water both would have high variation, but this doesn't happen for a commercial building. If we talk about like water treatment, the factories which are having the water treatment, it can be reused for like process or non-process, could be like having complete irrigation by these treated water also. But same thing cannot have same replica for like commercial building. So I feel there are huge difference, but key points are having like light pipes or like SRI pants, then selection of equipment which will be very different for like process industries and like buildings.
Thanks, Shivraj. Thanks for the insight on the comparison of the building certification. Mr. Preetham has posed a query and is wanted to ask if a construction material has EPD or GPC as per ISO 14021-14021 may be self-declared with a third-party certificate. Will it get extra marks?
So as of now, we have not put any such requirement for getting award or credit for like this kind of product which are certified under like 14,000 or so. So instead of that, we are recommending all the clients manufacturer to adopt the Green Pro certification so that it is making more sense for them. And once they are going for Green Pro certification, their requirement would become a kind of necessity for like many other green building projects. So right now we have not awarded this kind of credit requirement.
Thank you. Mr. Samir has asked one very interesting question. He said that at present, the Metro Rapid Transit Systems, the MRTS systems, depot buildings comes under the IGBC Green Factory Rating System. Would this be change in the future with a new and appropriate rating for the MRTS or any other kind of depot?
So till now, we have certified and we are having more than 18 to 20 depot projects across the country. They are primarily from different metro rail projects and also from like several other transmission companies. So currently we are addressing this area under Green Factory, but because developing rating system, it again a major task whether we have a sufficient project under that category or not. Suppose we are having like only 200 project, it doesn't make any sense to develop a separate rating system for that. Instead of that, there could be some revision which we are doing in the Green Factory. At this moment, we can define some of the credits or requirement which may not shoot to depot. But at this, we are taking under Green Factory only. In future, we are not sure about this development. Yeah, Puneet, Nilesh.
Shivraj?
Yes, I'm able
Now,
to hear you.
another query is that the available factory rating refers to 2004 codes and also still in a pilot version. So would you be updating the same with the new version?
So very interesting question, and we are happy to inform you that the revision is undergoing, and maybe by June, last week of June month or so, it will be revised, and the latest code will be followed for it, like ECBC 2017.
There is one more query from Sampath. Says, can the CSR fund utilized for converting existing factory building into a green factory?
I think for IGBC point of view, we don't have any problem whether they use CSR fund or like the fund from the like factory owner or something else. But there would be some guidelines from the ministry like where it can be used. So I think they need to relook whether their fund will be if they utilize in like renovation or like green factory certification, whether it would be allowed from the government perspective or not.
Okay, just to add, Shivraj, to this, the CSR fund has a very specific guidelines where the funds can be used. A company cannot use the CSR fund for the upgradation or to reinvest in one of its own subsidiaries. So, a very tricky question, but the company should go with the well-defined CSR guideline, fund utilization guidelines. Shivraj, I have a very interesting question to you. It's from the anonymous. Then, that what will happen if a factory fails to achieve any IGBC certification?
So actually, there are two things for it. Any of the factory which is not meeting the mandatory compliance, because we have a certain mandatory requirement for site, for water, for energy, indoor environment quality, and some requirements are mandatory under waste management. So any of the factory is not meeting these criteria cannot have the award for green factory certification. Then second would be if factory is unable to get credit which are required to meet the like minimum certification level of like 51. So any factory unable to get 51 credit point cannot get certification, or any factory which is not meeting the mandatory compliance or mandatory requirement cannot get awarded for like green factory certification. So if they are not able to meet these criteria like mandatory requirement as well as like sufficient credit points, they need to have relook like what kind of implementation can be done there and what kind of measures would showcase more benefit to them.
I want to add few things. These are not very Herculean task. So Mr. Anonymous, मुझे लगता है कि they are all very workable solutions. It is not that IGBC is suggesting something very big and great. They are very logical steps, and there are compliant silver, gold, platinum. So if somebody is not able to achieve platinum, he should be happy with the gold. As it is, he's making a saving, and even compliant is also. And if somebody gets struck, they can contact all of us, any of us, and a representative of IGBC. We will do hand holding and guiding on these things. So I don't know. I appreciate the question. No question is ever wrong, but answer is we can always guide and help you in achieving this certification. And I want to address Mr. Gaurav Varmani. I'm seeing a lot of questions he's asking. I'm so happy that all his questions are very methodical and this thing. So there was a one question which was that do we have to still design as per as 45 liter per day? Yes, because we are not suggesting any deviation from National Building Code. We are suggesting how to save energy, how to save money, how to save environment. So as far as designing is concerned, whatever code you're following, NBC or any other international code, please go ahead on that. But this will make a financial sense. This will make aesthetic sense. This will make well-being and a good environment and a good business sense. And the type of question Mr. Gaurav has asked, I request Gaurav, please get in touch with our team or send a mail to us. We will share a lot of information and detail so that all your queries are answered. Thank you. Nilesh.
Thank you for participating. Shivraj, there is another query which says that that because of the existing COVID-19 situation, now do we also incorporate some recommendation on the construction work to be taken in the factory or the factory operations in our rating program?
So seeing the like right now situation, it is very interesting question. So we are happy to inform you that IGBC has prepared guidelines for two sectors. One is like operational buildings, whatever the projects we have certified. For them, IGBC would issue one advisory like how to operate them and what kind of precautionary measures they should opt for these buildings while operating them. And second thing is the another area is like construction sector. Again, there would be a publication from IGBC side. What kind of precautionary measures has been taken for some of the projects, and how these builders and developers would take decisions while having their new construction ongoing also. So hopefully by Monday or so, all the stakeholders they would get two updates. One for like operational building and another is for like construction sectors.
Thanks, Shivraj. There is another very interesting query, and it says that that are we revising the energy guidelines for the factories based on whether they are existing in nature or they are upcoming or a greenfield or a brownfield projects? Because it is always easier for a greenfield project to achieve the better energy efficiency in comparison to the retrofitting buildings. So your comments, please.
I think Puneet, I didn't get the questions correctly. I think you are asking like what could be the energy efficiency for greenfield project as well as for the like brownfield project. Is it that question?
No, I'm reposing it. Say whether the existing building coming for a green certification and the new upcoming factory buildings coming for the certification, are they following the same energy benchmarking, looking at the operational issues with the existing one?
So I think it is very much obvious for a existing factory which is going for green certification, and if there could be some challenge with regard to like energy efficiency mandatory requirement, or could be like energy efficiency credit requirement, if they are not able to achieve both the things or either of the things, then there would be a retrofitting requirement, and this retrofitting would offer significant benefit to the project. while comparing a factory which is upcoming for green certification, there would be energy efficiency opportunities much more than like what a existing factory may look like. Because in a design case, there could be right orientation of the factory, but in existing, we may retrofit lot of parameters with regard to like air conditioning, lighting, equipment also. But definitely we cannot orient the project. So similarly, there could be more than different parameters, which would definitely make more sense for an upcoming project, but it would be very limited for existing project to go for green certification. So because of that only in our rating system, all the credits and requirement are certainly having some differentiation, some variations for existing to have the green certification and for a upcoming factory to have the green certification. So existing may not achieve like maybe like more than 80 credit points or more than 90 or so, but a new project we recently did with one upcoming project or like organization, their factories are designed with like high energy efficiency while considering all the measures related to like codes and water practices or so many other parameters. So I think it has like good variation in energy efficiency for both upcoming and existing retrofit. Yes.
I want to make just add to this. Energy requirement in a factory is majorly is based on the type of work we do and type of machinery we have. So for that, my suggestion is in CII, we have a center of excellence which guides on how to achieve energy saving on existing machinery and all parameter as far as electrical energy or other energies are concerned. So when we talk about a green building, energy is just one part of it. But in industry, energy is a major consumption of the finances. So my suggestion is whosoever wants to have a better energy efficiency as far as machine and other components are concerned, they must get in touch with CII Center of Excellence for Energy Efficiency. Puneet.
Okay, thank you, Kanal Pathak. There is another query from Anonymous, which says that whether the IGBC certification is for the lifelong of the building project, or does it come with certain timelines or with the expiry date? If so, then what would be the recertification guidelines?
I think it is very interesting question, and this is to inform you that the green certification, not only for factory, but all across IGBC certification programs, the rating is valid for like 3 years. After 3 years, we always encourage all the project to go for recertification. And under recertification, the requirement would not be similar to like certification. They would have some kind of variation for all the projects going for recertification. And with regard to like certification fee, definitely it would not be the same. The certification fee for factory is 50% of the, sorry, the recertification fee for any of the factory is 50% of the certification charges.
Yeah, thanks, Shivraj. And there is one query which is related to the what would be the certification process for, or not the registration process for the green factory projects. So this, if you allow, Shivraj, I'll answer this question because somehow it is also related to me.
Yes,
see,
please go ahead.
for going for the green building registration, the process is very simple and the customer friendly. The project friendliness is making this that more than 400 factory projects is already with IGBC green factory rating system. The first and the foremost thing is the project need to register, and then we will evaluate the building project with the current standing. That what all measures need to be done in the building project, or the building project is good enough to go for a green building certification. And then with the detailed and deliberations, we will ask the projects to go for a certification so that certain level can be achieved. For more details, you may either put your email address or a phone number to the chat box, or you may connect to me and my colleague Nilesh to take this forward. Thank you. Thanks, Shivraj, for the opportunity to answer this. Now, I have one more query. This is related to the prospective approach requirement on the energy credits in the rating certification. And I believe this question belongs to the one who's been already in dealing with one or many factory certification project. Now, I'm just taking it verbatim. It says the prospective requirement is governing the performance of the factory. So why don't we omit it in the upgradation of the factory rating? The prospective requirement, Shivraj.
I think it is very important, Krishan, and right now we have defined two approaches: the whole building performance approach, which is with the help of like simulation tools, and other requirement is like perspective approach. Actually, what happens in perspective, we are not able to get the whole idea of the factory to get either certain percent of increase in energy efficiency or so. But in whole building, it can be diagnosed at component level. We can have a relook on like every parameter, how much energy efficiency it will increase or so. So it cannot be avoided in the upcoming version also, because some project they find some difficulty with simulation programs, or some project they don't have some consultancy on board, just because of like some confidential issues, and they cannot learn the whole building simulation within like 6 months or 1 year time or so, and they may not getting the right expertise also with regard to these tools. So what I feel like in prescriptive, we have put very list credits, because right now we have provided like 3 credits point only, like how much is the energy efficiency in the glass, in the air conditioning, or some other requirements. So it is simple approach, and it will not help the project to have like high energy efficiency or to achieve like high rating system. Like any project getting like gold with like prescriptive, and if any project is getting gold with simulation, it is very easy for a project to switch or like get better rating with simulation approach, showcasing better benefits or like real-time energy saving in the project. And this prescriptive approach is, yeah, I want to say some more about it. Like this approach is not only like ECBC or like SRAE, it is well defined in like several other codes, which are primarily used for like energy assessment, either in commercial building or even in like industrial establishments.
Yeah, thanks, Shivraj. Thank you very much. And before I'm taking the last couple of questions, I would request, in case there is more queries, you may simply put it in the Q&A chat box so that we can take it up, Shivraj. Dr. Shivraj, there is another query which says that what if the client has taken green product certification and not under green factory certification? The factory project is not under the IGBC certification, but the product has been certified by the Green Pro. Then what would be the authenticity of the products?
So actually, for green factory and the green product certification, the criteria of certification is entirely different. For a factory project, we have guidelines where we refer like five main areas. Whereas for the green product certification, our approach is very different, and it is based on like life cycle assessment. And life cycle assessment could be like very much easy process for a product, but could be like a very lengthy and very detailed for a factory to analyze it. So for any project which is green certified and the green product is also certified, there could be some benefits while getting the certification. Like any product is getting certified and the factory is certified, there would be a lot of credit awarded in the green product certification. Similarly, if any product is certified and factory is not certified and factory is going for certification, there would be some requirements if any of the project is using the certified product in the manufacturing, or could be during the construction activities also, there could be some benefit we may award it.
Right, Shivraj, one very interesting to know about the credits to be awarded in the green product certification, certified project used in the certification. There is another query which is related to the product certification credit criteria. That if the client has already taken a green product certification or EPD, but not from a Green Pro, but from other sources like ISO, GEN, etc., the Global Eco Labeling Network, then will the use of such certified products win the extra credit points for using such products in the building?
So very valid and very interesting question again, Puneet. So actually what happens, we are not very confined to like Green Pro certification only. In certain areas like carpet or some chemicals, we are not only having the Green Pro, but we have the certification from like Green Seal, especially for chemicals, CRI certificate for like carpet or some other examples. And we have right now we have put like either Green Pro or equivalent certificate. So we are taking some certificate, but certificate should have the authenticity and should showcase the performance analysis for all these components. Like any of the product which is certified under Green Pro, it will have the interventions for like design, it will have intervention for the process, then the water efficiency, then the energy efficiency, then the life cycle also. So for some certification like ISO, it is not awarded at this moment. But if any project is certified by like Global Eco Label Network, it will be considered in that. And Green Pro is also part of like Global Eco Label Network.
Shivraj, I have one question.
Yes,
is there any additional advantage like increased FAR if we have a green certification?
Yeah, Puneet,
like to ask if Shivraj allow.
Puneet, could you please respond this question,
Yeah.
because I am not sure about like Himachal Pradesh, but in several states across the country there are some FAR announced for like green building certification. It includes the green factory also. But currently I am not aware about like Himachal Pradesh. Puneet, could you please elaborate that?
In Himachal Pradesh also, the additional FAR has been given to the upcoming the green field building projects, and similarly in the other states like state of UP, state of Haryana, Punjab, we have Rajasthan, we have West Bengal, part of West Bengal, we have part of Maharashtra. So many states have been giving incentives to the factory projects, or for that matter any building projects who's going with IGBC certification would get some additional incentives, and it is in the form of incentives. So one would get it. I don't see there would be any challenges just because it is a factory building.
Okay, thank you.
So Shivraj, coming back to you, there's another question on the COVID-19. So due to this lockdown, that many of the project certification timelines are being exceeded as the site audits are not happening. How IGBC is tackling this situation?
So very interesting, and seeing the kind of situations we are facing, it is like very difficult. And not only like IGBC, but no one would be very much interested to visit any of the site, or even like travel is not possible right away. Maybe even after like post-COVID, there would be some restriction on travel also. So friends, we have published, and this will be released by Monday or maybe on Tuesday. We have put a methodology wherein we have discussed like any of the project going for green certification, and already they have done the pre-assessment of like first submission, or could be their final assessment is underway also. In that case, the site visit will not be carried out physically, but we have proposed a virtual site visit, wherein the client or maybe the consultant who is based in the same city, they will have one presentation along with the project team to the IGBC, showcasing all the implementation, which will help us to validate all the implementation or deployment. Second part, there would be virtual site visit by IGBC official using like Hangout or some other online media, and project team would take some video footage, and could be some audio or some long short photographs, or they would submit one virtual video captured or showcasing all the implementation right there in the project, and then IGBC will assess these clippings or videos or like virtual site visit tour before the award of the certification. So this is the policy has been published by IGBC, and I hope like all the consultant they would receive it by Monday or so.
Right, thanks Shivraj, and I think there are many more questions which have been there, but due to paucity of time, we'll connect individually, and then we'll close the question and answer session. Now, may I request Colonel Pathak to put a concluding remarks, and after that we'll close the event. Colonel Pathak, please.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for being part of this interactive session. I'm sure it must have given you a lot of insight or must have removed a lot of confusions. What exactly is green building? And if anyone needing some more information, they can go on our site, that is www.igbc.in. A lot of material is available. All these things, all informations are available. It's a very good interactive site. If you need further some clarification, Nilesh, Shivraj, Atul, they all are available. Puneet, all are available whenever you send a mail, and we can answer those questions. Apart from it, every big city, we have a lot of associated professionals. We can connect anybody with them, or we have chapters in all these big cities. So it's a very good movement. It will save a lot of energy. It will save our planet, and it will save a lot of money from the pocket of whether it is a factory or a personal building or a commercial building. So I thank everybody who's ever attended this thing, and I want to give a big thank you to Dr. Shivraj, who has answered all the queries very patiently and taken a very good presentation, very detailed one, especially for the beginning, because the first question I saw somebody ask, what is green? Is it green by color? Or so I'm sure all those questions must have been answered by now. And Puneet was a big help in conducting this event and then answering this question and handling the question answer session. The Nilesh was a behind the scene which organized, conducted as well. And we also want to thank architect Jeet Kumar Gupta ji, because of certain technical hitches, he's not able to answer or connect, but with his big experience, if anybody needs the help, he can send mail to all of us. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, participants, all the attendees, Colonel Pathak, Dr. Shivraj Dhaka. Thank you very much, Nilesh, for conducting and connecting all of us. Thank you. With this, we'll close this event. We'll share the feedback form soon. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much.